New Delhi, India's Ministry of External Affairs has activated a special control room to assist Indian nationals amid the escalating situation in West Asia and the Gulf region. As the US-led strikes on Iran and retaliatory actions continue, MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal announced the 24/7, though specified operational from 9 to 9 p.m., 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. special control room in view of the current crisis. Indian citizens in the region or their families can reach out for support, updates, evacuation, queries or emergency numbers on the bottom of your screens. Meanwhile, Embassy of India in Abu Dhabi has issued an advisory for all Indian nationals in the United Arab Emirates in view of the current regional situation. People are advised to avoid unnecessary travel, take due care, remain vigilant, follow safety guidelines and advisories as and when issued by the UAE authorities and the embassy. The Embassy of India, Abu Dhabi and the Consulate General in Dubai are continuing to function normally and will issue updates as necessary. The embassy has also provided emergency numbers to contact, which is 800-46342 and 971543090-571. Now, I want to go across to Lieutenant Colonel Sodhi. Lieutenant Colonel Sodhi, my question is that, there's a lot of chatter about the timing of this attack. What do you read into that?
Well, Vishali, on 8th of January this year, 5 days after America's success in Venezuela, on 8th January, President Donald Trump told Pentagon to plan for a military strike on Iran at the earliest. The date decided was 13 January midnight. On 13 January morning, when President Donald Trump was being given the final briefing before the midnight attack, all the American intelligence chiefs warned President Trump that any attack on Iran would prove disastrous for America. That time, President Donald Trump listened to them and he postponed the attack which was scheduled at midnight that day. But after that, there was so much of pressure on President Donald Trump by Prime Minister Netanyahu as well as the rich Jewish lobby that President Trump could not withhold his plans for long. Another point which erupted in this duration was the release of the Epstein files, in which at many places Donald Trump was directly implicated as having been part of that scandalous racket. So as pressure was mounting at home, as pressure was mounting abroad, because in the ensuing 3-4 weeks, about 11 top political leaders resigned from many nations because of the Epstein files. The Democrats were totally after President Trump asking for his resignation. It was under these circumstances that President Trump had to relent to Netanyahu's plan of attacking Iran because that was seen as the easiest way to divert the American attention, which was that time focused totally on Epstein files. And as we have seen, ever since 28th February morning, Epstein file news has vanished from all the American media houses, all the Western media houses. It is now talk only of the crisis in the Middle East. So yes, I totally agree with you. In any war or battle, the timing always has the most important significance because timing decides the success of that particular war or battle. And in this particular case, the timing was of choosing for Donald Trump because of the growing pressure on him internationally as well as domestically.
All right. Now, viewers, the Indian Embassy in Qatar has posted on X now. It is reiterated that the Embassy of India, Doha, is available 24/7 on the helpline number 00974 55647502. Any query could be raised on email. Embassy officers are also available 24/7 for providing emergency assistance. We continue to remain in touch with local authorities, airlines and community organizations to provide help to all Indians under current circumstances. Ambassador Fabian, coming to you with this question. Now, as per what Lieutenant Colonel Sodhi is also reiterating, that there are certain vested interests, whatever Trump may say, and then a war is waged. Now, my question is that everything that Trump says when he tries to give us reasons for this war, I have a point, KP Fabian, that, Ambassador Fabian, that, you know, why does he not do things when it comes to Pakistan? Why doesn't he take a strong stand there where it's really required? What do you have to say?
Yeah. As regards Pakistan, President Trump has his family business interests to take care of. You know that Trump's son had gone and met the Field Marshal Munir and the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And they are going ahead with crypto coin and also with minerals and maybe more things. So that is family business interest. But let me make one point clear in regard to what Lieutenant Colonel Sodhi said. The timing was decided by Netanyahu. Because what happened? Let's dig deeper. When Prime Minister Modi went there, is it the 26th? Anyway, you can check the date. On the tarmac, there were 8 super tankers, aircraft doing refueling on air, okay? And 2 unmarked 747s. Now, unmarked aircraft are used for transporting personnel and other things related to the embassy. In other words, there was already arrangement for America to do some evacuation. And the super tankers probably for Israel. Now, so then what happened? The Israeli Mossad had been monitoring the movements of Ayatollah for months and months. And finally, they found an opportunity when he was holding a meeting with so many others, and they struck. And in such matters, the policy of Israel is this: if they have been following a high value target, and if there is an opportunity, then it has to be struck immediately, because you may not get another chance. And of course, America may have been informed, but the decision was that of Netanyahu, as Secretary Rubio said. So we have to get that right. President Trump now mention was made about Epstein files. Yes, diversion of attention, but let's dig a little deeper. Who is behind this Epstein? We do not know, but many people believe that Mossad was behind Epstein. Mossad has a full file, and if certain portions have to be deleted from that file, then Mossad can help. In fact, it may have the technology to delete without leaving any trace. And President Trump would like certain portions to be deleted. So Mossad has a role there. And perhaps, this is only speculation, perhaps that explains why Netanyahu has such a chokehold on President Trump. Now, as regards the control rooms and all that which I mentioned, well, I had some experience of doing that as Joint Secretary way back in 1990-91, a time when we didn't have the cell phones or emails and all that. But these are very important, and we should welcome that what MEA has done. But Americans, as I said earlier, they have evacuated till now 9,000. The France has asked its citizens to leave. Now we have almost 10 million citizens in that area. We cannot take them out. What we can do is that, the elderly, the sick, such people, specified categories, we should arrange for their repatriation by air or even by sea immediately.
All right, very, very interesting perspective.